Hey there, lords and ladies. I don't usually do this little cold open, but you'll see again, we're still down one Dragonpit podcast member, but we are glad that the two of us are back. I'm sorry we were late. I was on vacation last week and
we tried Wi-Fi connection.
We did. So it wasn't good.
Little delay.
But it's important for us to be in the studio with you all.
Yep.
And by the studio, we mean my living room. Yeah. Okay, we've got a fun episode. It jumps around a lot. So we're going to kind of try to do this based on characters and their scenes so that we don't have to go back and forth. The last try we tried, very chaotic.
Moving around a lot. And this episode does move around a lot. But it's one of those episodes that is good because it tells 5 different stories all in one, but they all kind of like the books. They all tell a different story, and it drives the plot forward.
Yep.
And that's what this episode did. It was a really good plot driver to set up some other big sequence in action. So why don't we start out at Rook's Rest?
Sure. I would love to start out Rook's Rest. You know, we've got our favorite buddy cop drama going on. And throughout this episode, we kind of are going to talk about like father figures and paternal figures. And it's interesting here in this episode where you see Larys really trying to like be kind of a guide, like at least help Aegon stay alive because he tries to get himself killed several times.
He can't get out of his own way. And he gets a new fun nickname, Gregor, which I thought was easy. Gregor.
Gregor's a weird name for him, but you know, it's very different. So no one's going to assume it's like a acronym for something. Right. But we see Gregor, Aegon. Too many. You know, he comes upon Sunfire, his dragon, and she's looking real bad, and many assume dead. And
at least she has her head.
Meleys is fully decapitated. But it was touching to see Aegon kind of
care.
Yeah, like
care.
You know, I mean, we can see my cat over there, but it's just like it's, you know, a beloved pet and friend of his that he really is in denial that she's dead. And
in the books, this differs from the books.
Yeah,
in the books,
for sure.
She isn't dead. And we come upon the base camp where people are profiteering, saying, hey, if you want to touch it, it's a penny. He's like, he's using 2 hands, so it's 2 pennies.
We really see like the spoils of war, like what happens in the aftermath, the profiteering, I think you said, but just like the brutality of it, which I think is good for Aegon to see. It's not something he would have really ever seen before. And he has to keep his identities concealed. So he keeps telling Larys, like, I want to tell him I'm the king. And Larys keeps being like, no, dude, like you're going to get your head chopped off in 2 seconds if you do that.
If people know who you are, you're cooked.
Yeah. Even if they are like Kristen's men, they don't care. It's obvious that all they want is
money, power. If they can trade them for something, they will and disappear.
And they know Rhaenyra would pay top dollar for Aegon's head. So he gets... call him Mangle Face. He gets put in charge of.
Was it Tumbleton or Twisted Tongue?
Yeah, Tangle Tongue and Mangle Face, and Aegon, you know, gets a little hangry at the end of the episode.
Well, he got put on latrine duty. And it's not something a king's ever probably done in his entire life.
Nope. And he gets mad and lashes out and acts like he's the king again.
It's like how you treat your people. Like
you're a bad ruler.
Like this guy is actually some lord. This guy doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Also, it's like real rich coming from him, who when he was ruler did not care at all either. So, you know, sure.
I think it's a really good shoes on the other foot too, because he's lived in these
no
slums.
Pun intended.
Yeah. He's lived in these slums before. He's a horde, and he's done all these things where he thought he knew what the people were, but the whole time he was protected. He was still the king. There was always somebody in the shadows protecting him. Now the only person protecting him is old Larys, and he's doing his best. But again, he's
not a bad job.
He can't physically intervene.
Right.
He's not going to be able to stop him if anybody actually knows who he is. So
So at the end, he ends up kissing that guy's boot, and
just covered in human fucking shit. It was just
it's
gross.
a real downgrade for Aegon. So let's go over to Harrenhal, where we've also got another downgrade. Kristen Crispy's army shows up, and he finds nothing at Harrenhal.
Well,
everybody's except our girl Alice Rivers, our favorite little witch, self-proclaimed witch.
Yep.
I think she plays them beautifully too, when she's just like, "Oh my, you didn't know? He's left for King's Landing."
Yeah, you don't even hold the capital anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys are so out of whack. And the other thing that this really kind of reveals is that the Greens in the Hightower army are delusional, that they think that everyone's has their like Kristen being hand of the king and being in the position like they actually care about him at all, or Gwaine, because he says to Aemon, he goes, "Aemon would not desert me." It's like, we straight up, maybe he didn't.
Maybe he didn't. We don't really know.
And you're now kind of left in this scenario where what's next? And Gwaine's like, let's regroup. Let's get our forces together. Let's
Ormond's probably got a plot going. Let's go get them.
He's a psycho, but he's always scheming. So like, if we're going to go with another psycho instead of Aemon, let's go with my cousin.
Yeah. Let's pick a different psychopath. 3 for 3.
Yeah. And
Aegon and then Aemon.
He's like, no way. We're going to go guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
We're going to jump out of the bushes and delay them and be...
Yeah.
And they talk about honor. There's like that good exchange about unless we become beasts and we're men of honor. Mm-hmm. And he does the most dishonorable thing you could do during that time. And goes and does guerrilla warfare.
Yeah. Like he says, let's take him down like the scorpion does the ox.
Right.
And like, oh my goodness. It's just... Yeah, I mean, Gwaine eventually does, because we'll see at the very end of this episode, Gwaine sends a note to Tumbleton and says, like, we're not coming. We're going to sit here and do Crispy Cole's stupid plan of taking out the Rivermen one by one.
But if you have any better ideas...
yeah, right?
Please
send them. So we see a dishonored Kristen. And then let's hop over to our third small plot point, although I mean it was so cool. We're going to the Vale. It was really great to see the inside of the Vale, the moon door again, and that
Lady Aaron just kind of making it weird up on her
with her dog.
With her dog on the tree throne that they have up there. I also really like the visuals. So we'll get to the visuals of Caraxes and Stellar and all that, but like this whole area, I was like, okay, I understand why it takes so damn long, because these visuals are actually delightful. Like this doesn't look CGI. This actually looks semi-real. So I appreciate the aesthetics of what they did in the Vale in this episode. But let's go back into the moon door and the
Daemon's begging for money, saying like, well, you never sent the troops, and she says, well, you won, so you didn't really need them, huh? And he's like, fine, I'll just take your money. She sort of reluctantly, I wouldn't say reluctantly, Lady Aaron is a very skilled political figure throughout. I don't know if have really seen how, being a woman in this, leading a house, being a woman in this time, and any time during Westeros is very unique, very rare. She's really... You can tell that she's a cunning political actor, even in the way that she sort of taunts Daemon and doesn't really take shit from him, and knows like, oh, you're a beggar king now. Right. Like, oh, they didn't leave you any money. And so she gives him the money. She wants him to go away. And then as he's leaving,
she wants him to go away because she knows what's going on in the hills too. So she doesn't, she
doesn't want to blow Rhaena's cover.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to lose her protection of her dragon. So she kind of understands what's going on, but she's like, get him. I need to talk a little shit, but get him out the door as fast as possible.
Yeah. Yep. And so then we see Daemon try to get on Caraxes. Well, he gets on Caraxes, but Caraxes, the first time really we've seen in the House of the Dragon, Caraxes disobeys.
He's like, what the? No,
Daemon.
No, somebody's here. We got to figure that.
Yeah.
There's something in there. We got to go suss this out.
And it's good. I think it's helpful for Daemon to remember as he's going and he's about to find Rhaena that like dragons are beasts still. Right. They don't always listen to you. Right. Like this is still really,
and he's always like, we have dragons. They've been guarded well. And this one's like,
they're our power.
No. We got to go check this out. He had no choice but to go along.
And they stumble. They come in and Rhaena steps out of the cave looking horrible, just like so bad. And Daemon really, I think we see him in season 1 when their mom dies. He's pretty sweet to his girls, but we don't see a lot of him being a father.
Right.
We actually do see in the books that Daemon is quite an attentive father.
He gets a little more credit than he's given in the story.
Yeah, right? For sure.
But like this also just made him like more of a sympathetic character.
Yeah.
When it comes to
how he is as a dad.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. Like a more sympathetic character of like, I might not be the best dad, but I still am your dad. Kind of thing. And that at the end of the day, when she's like, you've never really cared for me. He's like, he can't say, well, that's not true.
Yeah.
Because he has, but he just probably hasn't shown it. And that's the thing. That's the disconnect of kids and parents doing the things that they do, especially in the world that he married Rhaenyra, and now it's a different plot point, right? Like he can't force his kids on the throne. And so he has these.
Well, what's really interesting when I was just doing a rewatch, he says to Rhaena, why aren't you taking care of my sons?
Right.
And I think that really also pisses her off. Like, oh, so you never really, like, it's always been about your sons with Rhaenyra. Like, yet again, you're discarding me. This is the first thing you're saying as I walk up is like, what happened to my boys? And not like, hey, you look horrible. It seems like you're having a really hard time out here trying to train this crazy dragon.
You've lost a lot of hair.
Like your lips are all white. You probably haven't eaten any vitamin C in a while. Like
you're hanging out in this cave with this weird dragon.
Yeah. And she, to her credit, is like, no, like this is mine. This is the first time in my life I've been doing something on my own. I feel bonded to this dragon. I'm not going to leave him now.
He was alone. I was alone. And
we found each other.
And now
it's really like a dad telling his daughter, like, I hate your new boyfriend. And she's just like, no, like, I was a big Taylor Swift song and fan. And there's like a song called, but Daddy, I Love Him. And like people keep stitching it with this scene, like, but Daddy, I love him. Right. And it's like, okay, he's a hood rat of a dragon, but like
the underbite alone should have told you something, but
yeah, for sure. And I do think to Daemon's credit, he's like, look, like let's just go back, let's talk to Rhaenyra, she'll understand. We gotta make this right. You could do it. And I think he also understands her decision to pick the dragon too.
Yeah, and so she says, all right, well, I know what my life is now. This is it. Leave me alone. I'm out. And Daemon's like, okay, well, this is really hard because he doesn't want to betray Rhaenyra, but he also doesn't want to betray his daughter. So he comes up with the plan of killing her
sheep herder.
Cut off his head, burn him to a crisp, that kind of thing.
We should talk about it in this next King's Landing section because, like, I mean, it's a very poorly conceived. It has a lot of plot holes. His cover up for his daughter,
but he hatches a plan to protect.
Yeah, he does,
and that's a positive thing.
Yeah,
he wants to protect her.
The smallest amount of fatherly love,
but it was there. Least he could do was make sure that the queen wasn't on her back.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get to our two bigger sets. So King's Landing. Still see Rhaenyra struggling to manage a very thin council of people, and she doesn't have a lot of resources at hand. Mysaria comes up with a plan to appoint a master of coin, who's Manderley, Torrin Manderley. And they're talking. I've always had a soft spot for Orwyle. I can't remember if we talked about it in the last episode, but Rhaenyra and Orwyle had a good relationship back when he was serving her father. Like there is some trust and understanding between them. And he suggests a few pretty good ideas. Like, okay, Tumbleton has been taken over. Why don't we send the Rivermen who are on the way rather than burning the city to the ground,
don't do exactly what your instincts are telling you to do.
Yeah. And that Ormond is clearly baiting you into doing. He's putting his soldiers within the city itself. So you have to he wants you to burn it down. Right. And she says they'll call me the next Maegor the Cruel. And so Orwyle has a good idea to send her down. And then she says, okay, you can stay on my council. And he tries to get the little, do you just want to talk about the little balls?
Yeah. I mean, it was simultaneously like, this is tradition. And then we see the tradition killed. And what we see later on in A Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones series, where they don't use those anymore. She says, this is
outdated tradition.
Outdated, no, an antiquated thing that we no longer need to do. And I think that's like the first step of laps and standards that they had. That those laps and standards then translate down the road where, well, if they didn't do it, why would we do it?
Yep.
And then you lose all like collective consciousness of the standards of, and we never actually know why they do it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There might be a real reason why they had.
Yeah. Like maybe in Valeria.
Right.
They all had like a magical ball or something. We don't really know.
We don't know, but we know that this is the end of
the turning point. Yeah.
End of a tradition.
And I think that speaks to more broadly of like having a woman on this is the end of the tradition. Like having a queen now is the end, is a new era. This is a new time. And, she wants to start her own traditions maybe.
Right.
So she sends them out. Ormond, she goes to, or while she sends to go find out, like what he's been saying to the King's Landing. Mysaria goes to get Torrin Manderley, and she goes, and I think we constantly question this. She goes to talk to Alicent and ask Alicent.
I just don't get it
for advice, and like I get it, they were friends, but. It would be so bad if other people knew that she was asking Alicent for advice.
All the time. I mean, it's every episode, multiple times. And Alicent's coming to her. They're just letting her wander the castle and talk to her, make requests from her, and she's granting the requests.
Yeah. And she doesn't, Alicent does, I believe Alicent that she doesn't really know Ormond, particularly when Orwyle comes back and says, like, he has never written to King's Landing, but, like,
she ignored
at the same
her father,
time,
she Ormond completely ignored her father. Ruled the Citadel, the seat of the Hightowers, with impunity. Didn't have to check in with King's Landing at all. And there was a covering by her dad because her dad was going to say, I can't keep my own.
Yeah, I can't keep my house in order.
Like so, he just never addresses it.
Yeah,
because he had other fish to fry. But at the same time, like. You really create a kingdom upon itself. And once you create those little dictators, it's very hard to change course.
Particularly, I think, in the case of the Hightowers, because I know we talked about this last time. Actually, Orwyle and Rhaenyra talk about it this time too. Like the Hightowers are not just, they're a lesser house. They're not even a great house, but they have really deep, close relationships with both the faith of the Seven. They have the Starry Sept, as well as the Maesters, where are all the Citadel. And so they really do have a tremendous amount of soft power in this society. And, Rhaenyra even goes and asks Orwyle, like, maybe we should get rid of the faith. But for Otto in particular to sort of just allow his nephew to just do whatever he wants is really dangerous. And we see how dangerous he can become with all that soft power with both the Citadel and the Faith. Do you want to talk about Rhaenyra and Orwyle and her maybe her like inquisition into like, should she kill him?
Yeah. So there she lays this out of we need to address this issue. And Orwell's like, don't kill, like, you can't just kill the High Septon. Like, that's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah.
If you kill just the High Septon, then the Faith are going to revolt against you, and you're gonna give them a catalyst to move forward. Like, if you're going to do it, you need to remove them all together, you need root and stem. And I think there's a power grab there in itself, because you have the Faith, which is its own thing, and the Citadel, which is its own thing, that coexist and live in this area with like mutual respect, but at the same time are contradictory in their teachings, because the Meisters are trying to figure out the secrets of the world, while the Faith is trying to control the masses through its dogma. And so, like, you have these two different sides of the same area, where they have grown in mutual power and mutual respect, but at the same time have completely different missions. And so Orwell, like, kind of lays the land of, this is good for you because you own all the symbols of power. You have the dragons, you have the castle, you have the armies, you have all the traditionals of power. You don't need these people. Yeah. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander for him, because if she comes in and wipes out the Faith, then the only thing there is the Citadel to pick up all the pieces and fill that power vacuum. So
it's interesting. I hadn't thought really about Orwell being like, oh, well, if she got rid of the Faith,
right,
the Citadel would potentially rise as these three pillars of society.
And who would you lean on? If you're looking for somebody or any point in the storm, you're going to look to the Maesters, because you just wiped out the other big player in the kingdoms on how people regulate. Now, I wouldn't even say that they rule their everyday lives, but how they regulate and they make decisions in their everyday lives.
So then let's talk about the other. Well, I mean, one of the many father figure references here, Alan, Corlys. We see Corlys and Alan, and Corlys is just like she appointed me hand, not mouth. Like, he doesn't want to sit there and talk about politics. He wants to go out and kill bad guys and kill pirates.
Which is ironic, because the episode before, he had a real big mouth on him.
Yeah. Well, or I mean, this is like how Corlys has handled his emotions his whole life. Like, when something bad happens, he goes and kills a bunch of pirates. Like that. He's done this. I mean, how much did Rhaenys, his old wife, his now deceased wife, complain constantly? Like, every time something bad happened, when their son died, when their daughter died, he just went out,
did a voyage,
going to kill pirates. Like, he's launched wars.
Get the boats. We're gonna go.
Get the boys, get the boats. Let's go. And he leaves Alan there. Alan, who is like probably the least qualified of them, but because he doesn't have a dragon, but like, I don't know. I think Alan is trying to do a pretty good job, and we see a really good. I think it's a really interesting and wonderful exchange between the two of them, where Rhaenyra is kind of like dusting off her dad's Lego set, his old little train. What'd you call it? Train station?
I thought it was this train room. Where he comes and builds little models and stuff. Lego room, train room.
Yeah, she's pulling things up.
Designated toy space.
Yeah, and Alan comes in and says like, okay, well, my dad left, so I'm gonna be on your council now. And
he's asked me to do this.
Yeah, she doesn't really seem to mind either.
Which I think this is kind of common, because we see it later on.
Yeah.
We see Tyrion do this for Tyrion.
Absolutely.
It's like, you're going to go here, and I said, I've designated
or,
you.
Like when Ned goes off to serve as hand of the king, like Robb easily steps in. Like, this is what they're trained for. It's not that weird. And Rhaenyra doesn't really have a problem with it. I think she actually likes Alan a lot. He's her generation. Right. He's sort of, he's indebted to her. She likes him.
He didn't call her kids bastards.
Yeah.
He's a bastard himself. So, I mean, she's comfortable with him.
Yeah. And she says, fathers have a maddening capacity to inspire and incense. And I think it's really, that really hits home for Alan, particularly after the Battle of the Gullet, where we see Corlys just like really be a badass on his ship, where he's like steering, and Alan is like looking at him in awe and thinking like, oh, my dad is really inspiring.
He's really cool.
He's really cool.
He knows boats.
And, Rhaenyra is sitting there in her father's seat and really trying to keep thinking of herself, like, how would Viserys do this? How would my dad do this? Like, she is inspired a bit by him. I think there's lots of flaws with Viserys, but
she's trying to rule without bloodshed.
Yeah, which is what he did.
Right. And that's what she aspires to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is she's in an active time of war, and she keeps going back to these things that she learned from her father that aren't serving her any purpose except for causing bigger issues.
Yeah. I mean, he's a hard example for her to follow because he didn't have a war-torn kingdom. Like, she would probably be better served following in, I don't know, lots of her other ancestors, but Viserys not.
Or her husband, uncle.
Yeah, sure. Okay, then we've got 2 scenes with our dragon seeds. So we've got Hugh coming in.
Hugh just wants his family back.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Rhaenyra in both of these, we've said Daemon's a bad manager. I think Rhaenyra is also kind of being a bad manager here. She says to Hugh, like, fine, whatever, go watch your wife. Like, just let Ulf know, and you
don't
two can, just don't burn it down. Like, whatever, go ahead. Ulf, on the other hand, goes out drinking with his buddies.
He's got the new kit going on. He's kind of feeling himself. All the bullshit he spun for so many years turned out to be true.
Yeah, and don't you think he thought when he got there, everybody else was going to buy him a drink?
Correct.
And then he realized, like, oh no, I'm the rich one now. I have to buy them a drink. And
all these years, I fashioned this persona where people got drinks, and now it's come to roost.
I wonder if at the end of that night, he had to be like, oh, okay, guys, can you actually chip in for the drinks, and I'll try to get you some pardons.
Like, hey, I'll get you a pardon. I'll get you a little spot over on the hill.
Yeah, so then he goes to Rhaenyra to ask. He's like, oh, I've got some allies, my drinking buddies, and he wants...
These are my people. They're the ones that always have my back. And she's like, what the hell did you just do?
Yeah. And she says, like, this can't be done in your name. Like, you're using my name to promise things that you don't have the ability to promise. Right.
And worse than that, then she's like, and now you're grounded.
Yeah, you're grounded. Like, it is
You're not allowed to go out anymore.
Yeah, like, he essentially then kind of becomes, like, a slave.
A prisoner. He's a prisoner in the Red Keep. He's
forced to get up on his dragon and die for her. Like, I think it's one thing if he was a knight. Like, knights know that that's their duty. They're raised that way.
He's a knight now.
Yes, he is a knight, but he wasn't raised as, like...
Correct.
He doesn't understand, like... And I think that's where her problem is. That she doesn't understand that he doesn't understand.
Right.
That, like...
I made you a knight. You're a knight now. This is what knights do. It's like, I don't give a shit what knights do.
He hasn't been fed all the propaganda of, like, protecting the honor and duty and whatever. Like, swearing your vows and all of these things. He had a half-hearted little, like... 3-person knighting session where they also told him he couldn't be a Targaryen, and you're
one of us, but you're not really one of us.
Yeah, he just doesn't really get it, and no one explained it to him, and he can't read. So then he said, like, I noticed this on my rewatch as well. Like, he's saying, like, when he gets there and sees the graffiti that says Queen of Bastards, like, somebody else reads it, and he's looking at that person because he can't read. But he tries to then use this as, like, I don't know. Do you think he's trying to be helpful?
I don't know if he's trying to be helpful, but
he's just hurt.
I think he's hurt and he wants to hurt her a little bit. He goes, well, you know what they're saying about you.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, hey, I found this out. He's not volunteering this information to volunteer the information.
Yeah.
To get in her good graces. He's giving the information to take a dig at her.
Yeah.
In the only way he knew how without getting into trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one could have argued that he was already in a fair amount of trouble, but
he already got grounded.
He already got grounded, so now he's just going to lash out at her. And she, I think this Queen of Bastards really hurts her because it's what people were saying about her for a long time, and now it's even more true that she has these dragon seeds riding the dragons who are also bastards. Like, she is surrounded by a lot of bastards at the moment.
There's one on her council now, and the other thing is this is done after she's given the people the food that she took it from the middle management lords and ladies of King's Landing, gave them food, tried to buy the goodwill.
Yep.
And how was she repaid? By F you, lady.
Yeah. And so she takes that to heart, and she goes and tells the Gold Cloaks, and we see them at the very end of the episode, but she tells the Gold Cloaks to get rid of seditious speech or seditious acts of sedition. And, they haven't been paid. And
I don't think she understands what she unleashed either. Like, when you say that to somebody, it's lowest common denominator.
Yeah, she said root them out, root and stem. And that in medieval time is like
blank check.
Kill them.
Yeah,
all of them.
That's a blank check. And even if she didn't mean that, the beatings will continue.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of exactly.
And that's what she unleashed on the people of King's Landing.
Yep. So then we were talking about Orwell. So then Daemon gets back, and
Daemon says, "Let's pay those Gold Cloaks." That's the first thing he says with the money. He's like, "Hey, these are the guys that are keeping order. These are the guys that we should make happy." And
they're basically their entire army. Daemon has the Riverland men and the Winter Wolves, and they've got the Valerians out on the sea. But in King's Landing, the Gold Cloaks are their army,
and they're the ones keeping order. And to ignore them is at your own peril.
Yeah, I mean, if Ormond had gone to King's Landing instead of Tumbleton, the Gold Cloaks would have been the ones defending the city. Right. So they don't have their own, they don't have a Targaryen army at this time except the Gold Cloaks. And Daemon's like, okay, I brought you some money. Let's get them paid.
Let's pay these. And then the worst advisor in all of Westeros says, no, let's give it to the people again.
Yeah, okay.
Let's give it to the people
I'll defend Miss Arya once in a while. This is a bad decision, okay?
She's like, we just robbed all these high lords and ladies and gave it to the people. Why don't we just keep giving to the people?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, they're putting graffiti on the wall saying how much you suck. So let's give them more, because that worked so well the last time.
So he has good advice, but he comes with the head of some...
Poor shepherd.
Yeah,
and we
shepherd.
talked about that briefly,
And I think, okay, you can hate on Miss Arya all you want, but she does immediately suspect Daemon of something, and she's looking at him like, this is not a well thought out plan.
Well, the guy was missing all his teeth. It didn't look like a dude that was riding a dragon. So give her credit, these numbers aren't adding up, but.
And Rhaenyra, I think particularly right after this Queen of Bastards comment, she wants to know, was this person a Targaryen? We know that the 3 other dragon riders all have Valyrian blood. She wants to know, is this somebody the Hightowers? There are a lot of really important questions that Rhaenyra wants answered that can't be answered. And Daemon sort of
dragons, dude.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what to do. You couldn't ask him.
This isn't a precise thing. I was like, hey, bad dude, get him. And then he's dead, and this is what we got.
Yeah, yeah. So then our final scene before we go to Old Town, Tumbleton. Rhaenyra goes back to talk to Alicent, as she does, and gives him a ring, and she walks out, and Helaena walks over to Alicent.
She also gives the bones.
She sends the bones back.
And
we talked about this last episode too. Returning the bones is kind of the least she can do, and is a smart diplomatic move. But then she leaves. Helaena comes over, and Alicent realizes that Helaena is pregnant, which is very dangerous.
Right.
Helaena now has a potential threat to Rhaenyra's rule.
Another threat to her claim outside of her other son that.
She has a daughter right now. So Helaena has one daughter left. This does sort of I know we've complained about this before in the Blood and Cheese episode of technically Helaena had 3 kids. So now this is sort of that third kid that maybe is kind of coming back into the picture. This isn't, I think if you're going to compare it to the books, the books, she already has 3 kids. So this is, I think the last kid's name is Maelor, which we haven't met. This is Jaehaerys and Jaehaera. They killed Jaehaerys, and Jaehaera is left. And then, theoretically, this third kid would be Maelor.
Yeah.
But it's not good news. It's very dangerous for Helaena. It's very dangerous for Alicent. It is going to play out in an interesting way. Okay, so let's go to the meat and potatoes of this episode. So Tumbleton. Okay, we're gonna cover them all, but I mean, we open in Tumbleton. We've never seen Tumbleton before. I thought it was a really interesting set. Like, it looks almost like it should be in Dorne. It's a shipping village, or it's like a trading village.
It's commerce.
Yeah, and it's we open this episode with,
it's like Baltimore. Right, it's like there's
lots of
roads running to it.
I like it. Yeah,
there's seaports. You can unload boats. You can ship them to different parts.
You're close to the capital, but you're not the capital. You're like people go back and forth between Tumbleton and the capital. I think it's a good. I like the analogy. Since we're here in Washington, D.C.
It's a little rundown.
It's a little rundown. You might not want to find yourselves in every part of town. Right. But we start the episode with the Hightowers taking over, quartering troops. They're bringing their troops, and this is like this is a third amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
This is why we have the third amendment.
It does not endear yourself to be an invading army who then puts their soldiers inside people's homes.
Right.
But it will make it harder for Rhaenyra to take the city, which is why it is a smart move from Ormond. However,
he also he comes out and he's giving the stewards of the city, because there's not like rulers of the city, but there are stewards.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, you bent the knee to
Rhaenyra. Yeah, Lady Footley, who's in charge. She, I think, is quite a badass.
She's like, because she was queen.
No, she says she is queen. Right. Like, she is not. I mean, the fact that Ormond doesn't kill her immediately shows some restraint, but I think is a little bit of a political play too. But
which is also,
he's taken over her bathtub.
Yeah, he's taken over her tub. He's taken over her spot. I also think it's really funny that because he ironically bent the knee last episode.
Yeah, he did
himself and swore. And
he did. That's such a good point. Yeah. And we know from
Allison gives us a little bit of insight on her cousin about. He's very sensitive to odors. That's why we see him sniffing frankincense all the time.
And bathing and being very hygienic. And
he also sees himself as a scholar himself. He thinks he's very smart.
Yeah, and
he's not a miser.
You can tell when they get the letter from Storm's End and Lord Boros Baratheon won't send troops.
Right.
And he says, well, maybe you have to use pictures next time. Put it in words he can understand, because he sees himself as a scholar. Boros, not so much.
Ormond's the kind of guy that's like, I went to Harvard.
Yeah, for sure.
It's on my shirt. I'm always wearing the hat.
Like, it has any opportunity to. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Do you know where I went to school?
Mm-hmm. Like, my boys and I at the Citadel, we know all of these things.
At our supper club, we were
exactly. He also would have hazed the shit out of people.
Look for poor Daeron. He's been his forever pledge.
Yes, exactly. So then we see Hugh's wife and is living with her brother and her sister-in-law, and there are 3 troops in there. And since Hugh.
Hugh.
Yeah.
We should specify.
Yeah, Hugh's wife is kind of a babe, and so they try to assault her, fight back. It seems to go okay when they go and talk to Ormond.
Ormond seems like a just ruler. He gets the perception that it's like, hey, if we're going to be in this city, we have to abide by certain rules.
Yeah, by guest right, which we've talked about before. Yep. What a big guest right is it's more important in the North. It's very, very sacrilege. If somebody, this is why the Red Wedding is such a huge.
There's story on the Knight's Wall about cooking their kids into pie. They turned them into a rat. And that was forever.
The Rat King.
The Rat King was forever doomed to eat his young. And So guest rights are not something we trifle with.
Yeah. And so Ormond's saying, we're going to abide by it. He tells the soldier he's going to geld him. And
break his arm.
And break his arm.
He broke one of the gal's arms. And they think that there's justice being done.
Yeah.
And they make a show of it. They make a show of saying, okay, this is what's going down. Our soldiers aren't going to do this.
Yep.
And it's all propaganda.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's trying to give Daeron in there, like a little fatherly advice. And what like I was like gasped at is when he's giving him some advice, and Daeron says, "Yes, sire."
Yep.
And sire means father. Like
right.
that is not something you said. This is like saying dad, like yes, dad. If you're just giving a sign of respect, you would say yes, sir,
right,
which would be S-E-R or my lord. But calling him sire means that like Ormond is acting as Daeron's father.
Right.
And because he says it so quickly, like it's like, oh, he's probably been acting that way from the start.
Yes.
Okay. I just was also listening to the official podcast today, and they said, well, Alicent would have known that boy wasn't Daeron because Daeron has brown hair. I've been assuming that they dyed Daeron's hair brown.
In the book, they dye it brown. They dye it black, I think, in the book.
Yeah.
So that
I think all of Alicent's children have.
They were all Targaryen. They were all blonde.
Silver hair.
The big trick in the book is that they dye Daeron's hair black.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Not vice versa.
I'm so glad that I have been thinking about this since I listened to it like a few hours ago. I'm like, I think it's always been a dye job. Otherwise, I think you could then maybe potentially say like, oh, did Alicent have a kid with Kristen Cole or somebody else?
Right.
But that wouldn't also make sense either because he's obviously a Targaryen because he has a dragon.
And it's way too late. So no, it's
okay.
In the books, it's a dye job, not vice versa.
I think it's a dye job too. I think the official Game of Thrones podcast is wrong and that you should listen to the Dragonpit instead.
Absolutely.
So then they're in the small council room. A note arrives from Harrenhal from Gwaine saying, they're not going to send troops. And Daeron sees that his uncle is
about to lose his shit.
Yeah, and like
he's like, get out.
It's definitely from a place of like somebody who's been deeply traumatized by this person.
He's been through this before.
Yeah, and he knows this is a survival instinct coming in for Daeron. He tells
the steward to get the hell out. The steward leaves. He loses his shit. He drops the C word about 20 times.
He
takes out a sword,
breaks the table.
And the thing that was most telling for me was who's this guy with the chains on his
I don't know.
It's like his number one guy. We talked about him earlier a couple weeks ago.
I know he does have a name, but he's not an important character.
But it doesn't faze anyone. Anyone else in the room that sees this, like they're
probably all just thankful that he's not doing it to them.
And he's used to it. And so as soon as he's done, they pick up the chairs, they put it back. And okay, he had his little psychotic episode, his little break.
And Ormond even like composes himself for a second, and he's like, okay.
All right. Now that I've got that out of my system, let's go back to the scheming and plotting.
Who it gave me real vibes about is Ramsay Bolton.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Like, it felt like a very Ramsay sort of temper tantrum that was very violent. And then like, okay.
I was going to say
I'll be calm now.
Dennis Reynolds, you haven't thought of the smell.
Okay. Sure. I stayed in universe, but Dennis Reynolds, sure.
Dennis Reynolds. And again, that's the little stolen valor. I saw a meme with Dennis's face on Ormond's body, and I was like, that is really, really funny. So I just thought I'd bring it up.
I like it. Okay, so then our last scene of the episode is we see Daeron trying to console Tessarion, his dragon, which I really don't understand how the dragon fit inside this like a small council room, but it's a very strange
one of the service entrance or something like that.
I don't know. It's a very large dragon inside. And I think it was actually like a sept maybe because there's the candles all around it. Right. I don't know.
There was a large table with candles. I think it was in the local holy place.
Yeah.
And so his dragon's and it would make sense that they put the dragon undercover because they don't want the other dragons from above to see.
Oh, okay. Okay. I like that. That does make sense.
That was my thought. I was like,
that's
this makes sense that they would hide the dragon because they have other ones going overhead. Hugh's constantly surviving. Yeah. And so they don't want those two to fight, and they don't want to lose a dragon.
That makes a lot of sense because it also thank you, Justin. That actually because then he's also saying to Sarah, he's like saying to his dragon like, "Don't worry, girl, we're gonna go out and fly soon. Right. Like we'll be allowed to fly soon." And Ormond walks in and says like, I told you stop coddling that thing. That's a beast. And, if even Tessarion seems a little scared of Ormond. It seems like
Tessarion doesn't like him, and he keeps referring to him as like, you have bad blood because you're a Targaryen.
Yeah.
Your blood is bad.
Yep. And he says, luckily for you, you were raised as a Hightower, even though you still have this taint in your blood. I think he says, I liked the line. He goes, the Targaryens are poor in intellect, but rich in cunning and subdued dragons by dark magic. But I thought, intellect and cunning are generally synonyms, but okay. Sure.
But he went to Harvard.
And he's going to tell you about it.
So I
am rich in intellect.
Right. And so he's going to lay out his own thought process of the world and say, you know what? They have the power. They shouldn't. We should have the power because we're the smart ones. We come from superior men.
Yep.
And he's referring to the Hightower clan itself as you coming from this line. And that's the reason why you're in this position. And then that's the first time we really see his plot where he wants to put Daeron on the throne and kind of rule his name.
He says, it's a few things, right? Like we know that the Hightowers who used to rule, but then when the Targaryens came, the Tullys were given the reach and not them. But then he doesn't want a woman on the throne. That goes against the faith. They've never liked the Targaryens for their dragon power and dark magic. And so
something that they'll never have. And that's why
that's
why it frustrates Ormond so much.
And so
he pulls in Hugh's brother-in-law.
Yeah. And it's like I don't know. I guess I wonder what you think. If this is the first time Daeron's killed someone.
I think it is. I don't think he's ever.
It kind of mirrors Rhaenyra, right? Like Rhaenyra's first kill is Otto,
right?
In the episodes two episodes ago, and she has to take his head, and that's sort of when she realizes the ruthlessness of power, that she must be ruthless to do this. And so is Ormond doing the same lesson to Daeron? That
I think he is, but it's so soft because he doesn't even remove his head. He stabs him.
Yeah, in the heart. So, yeah.
But then again, Ormond didn't give him any direction. He does not know that he should, if he's going to pass judgment, he should make it clean and easy. And instead, it's like personal trauma when I was 7 years old and I was taking fishing and they're like, take the hook out of the mouth. And I'm there's a photo of me crying because I have a fish in the mouth. And I'm like, well, I don't want to kill it. And he's like, kill it.
You've already done it.
It's done.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah.
He's also not only giving him a lesson, but he's also using it to manipulate him, traumatize him, and make him even more dependent on him.
Right.
For later on.
Yeah. I read a lot of fantasy and killing someone's a soul wound. It is the first time that you're sort of giving away these bits of yourself every time you kill someone. And it is a very vulnerable and manipulative position that you're now in to maybe tell him it was justified or then potentially use it against him and say you're already a murderer, keep murdering. So
right. This is your first step on this path, and this is your first step on your path to power. And and this is the justice of the king. And you're going to be king now because everyone else is not worthy. Yeah,
and Daeron kind of calls him out on that. He's like, what about my brothers? Neither of your brothers are dead.
Yeah, we don't know. It was well, he doesn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
They both are missing, though.
They both are missing, yeah. Okay, so we wanted to, as our tradition now is, we're gonna talk about the broader Game of Thrones universe. We have a question because we saw so many father figures.
Or paternal.
Yeah, paternal. Yeah. We'll talk about moms too, but in the Game of Thrones universe, we wanted to say who's the best and worst father. I already took off the table. I think we both can agree who the best father in Westeros would be. Which is
probably Ned.
Yeah, Ned Stark. It's just too easy, and also Rollins picks Ned for everything. So you love yourself some Ned. And I'll agree. I think of the fathers we've seen in Kings in all of Westeros, like Ned is an objectively good father. He cares about his kids. He plays with them. He really wants what they want. Like he understands Arya doesn't want to be a high lady, and
he tries to put them in position to be successful. He understands his kids and their needs, and he tries to put the best foot forward with them. He's
kind and not a psychopath, which most of the fathers in King's Landing are. So with Ned off the table, who would you say? Let's do best father, worst father, best mom, worst mom. And we won't do a draft, but I'll let you go first with who you think the best dad is.
I would say the best father
other than Ned.
Father figure is what we saw earlier this year, Sir Duncan the Tall, the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I think.
Yeah,
Dunk.
I like that.
It might be father, it might be big brother scenario, but at the end of the day, he cares about his ward, and he tries to do right by him and tries to teach him what it is to be good and to be honest and into how to rule as a knight.
I like that. I actually, he's not the one I'm going to put, but I think Baelor and Maker, but both Baelor in particular is a really great father from that of his sons. And then I think we see Maker being really kind, and he's kind of gruff and he's kind of brisk.
Yeah, but just because he's a hard ass doesn't mean he's not a good dad.
I think he's still genuinely has the best interest, and he's worried his kids are gone. Like I think we got some good father figures in Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Okay, so who would be the worst in your book?
Oh well, I want to say my best first.
Okay. I thought that was your best. I thought.
No. I thought I put him down as a maybe. I think, and this maybe goes. I think I would put Selwyn Tarth, so Brienne of Tarth's dad.
Okay.
We see him be super supportive. I mean, we never meet him in person, but we see him being very supportive of her. She talks very nicely about how he really encouraged her to, take up fighting, and that she was always bigger than everybody. And when she was teased, her dad really counseled her. We also see in the books and then a little bit on the show, when she's taken hostage, like he does really actually pay the ransom, and I think he wants what's best for her and really understands how to be like a good girl dad in a world that doesn't have a lot of good girl dads.
Okay.
So that's my best. Okay. My worst, I think objectively is probably Craster.
Oh, good. That's a good pick. Craster's a good one.
I mean, raping your daughters and offering your sons up to the Night King have got to be pretty high up there in the worst dads ever.
I was going to say the Greyjoy. What was it?
Baelor.
Baelor Greyjoy.
Yeah, Balon Greyjoy. Yeah,
he was the worst dad, I thought.
He was a pretty shitty dad too.
But I think you.
It's pretty hard to be worse than Craster. I mean, I think you go like Tywin is a pretty bad father in general.
I don't think Tywin was a bad father to the kids that he thought were his kids. Because if you go into the book lore, there is some ambiguity if
Tyrion is his son,
and not the byproduct of a forced upon rape of his wife.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of gray area with it, but he loved Jaime. He loved Cersei. He thought Jaime, who was dyslexic, how to read and made him do all these things. So
okay. We'll give Tywin a pass.
Give Tywin a little bit of a pass.
We got to go. I mean, I feel like it's hard to find a worse father than Craster.
No, I think you're right with Craster. I think Greyjoy would be the next.
Yeah. I mean, he did a number on his kids. Okay. Best mom. Do you want to go first?
I have one I think is out of pocket, but I will stand by it. I think it's Cersei Lannister.
Okay. I actually did think about Cersei too.
Everything
I think there's good arguments. Kids. Like Joffrey's a little piece of shit, but
she knew it and she tried to negate it. She very much tried. She did try. Put him in a position, but he was a little psycho.
She is one of the few mothers in Westeros or high ladies in Westeros who nurses her children, which is a very rare thing for royalty to do. And I do think I think Cersei has there are good arguments for that.
There was unconditional love that she gave. It didn't work out, and she didn't put her people in the right position. But at the end of the day, she very much cared for her children.
I think the best mom that we've seen, I think Rhaenyra is a really good mom.
Okay.
I think Rhaenyra cares deeply for her children. There's some, like maybe she shouldn't have hooked up with Harwin Strong and whatever, but she loves her children. She clearly like really knows them. We see her being so, and it's just because in contrast to how horrible of a mother Alicent is.
Right.
But I think there are strong cases to be made for Rhaenyra being one of the best moms we've seen.
I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. I want to do one other.
Yeah, go ahead.
One other honorable mention for a good father figure. He's not a father, and I would go Gregor Clegane. I would say the Hound.
Oh, father figure.
Father figure.
Okay,
the Hound.
Yeah. I do too. I think he's really
Sansa when she was in a time of need.
Yeah,
and he wanted to not. You think that there's a weird thing with him before, but I think he just sees innocence in her and he wanted to protect her.
Absolutely.
And the same thing with Arya, where he was like, "You suck, but I'm gonna like." But he's like, they had the first buddy cop thing in this whole world
for sure.
But I think that at the end of the day, like he did not want to see her get hurt.
Yeah.
And so I want to give him
taught her a lot. Yes. He was good. If I can do another honorable mention for best dad, I think Oberyn Martell is a really good dad as well. And he says to Cersei at one point, he says like, "We don't hurt little girls in Dorne." Yeah. And I think, Oberyn really tries with his sand snakes to bring them up, but we don't see a ton of that. I do agree that Gregor is a pretty good father figure. Okay. Worst mom. Do you have, I'll start out. Selyse Baratheon, Stannis' wife, who lets her daughter burn, at the stake to help pave the way and then hangs herself. Mm-hmm. But she's also mean to Shireen the whole time. Doesn't even really want to talk to her, locks her away in a tower, gives her like a jester in the book. She has a little jester who's like her friend, but pretty horrible mother.
Yeah. That's a very good one.
Yeah.
I would say, probably, and this is going to go against, what people might think, Catelyn Stark.
Yeah. I think that I agree with that too.
It wasn't that she didn't try to be a good mom. She just made all the wrong choices. Mm-hmm. And again, like it talks about, she prayed for Jon Snow to keep him there, and then she couldn't let this little boy live.
Yep.
And like she knew something was up, and not just that this was my husband's bastard. Mm-hmm. I think that she always knew that there was something about him. Mm-hmm. And she prayed for him and wanted him to live, and then she didn't follow through.
No.
And then she did the same for basically all her kids. She was like, "I got to go south."
Uh-huh.
Like, no, you don't.
Yep.
You didn't need to go south. If you don't go south, none of this happens.
Yep. And she allowed Rob. I know that, like, he's a teenage boy, but she allowed Rob to marry. In the books, she was a Lannister, but in the show, I forget what her name is.
They make a character.
Anyway, she allows him to
the Westerly girl.
Yeah, Jane Westerling, who's a Lannister. Yeah. Well, she's from the Western, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I also think she isn't unlike the way Ned is with Arya. Catelyn really is not interested in Arya becoming anything but a high lady.
Right.
Like she is like, you are going to be sold off to the highest bidder, basically.
You're doing this. This is what is expected of you.
Yep.
And she's very rigid. She's very rigid in her ways.
Yep.
And that's why she's not on the Euro contenders.
I don't think Catelyn is a good mother.
So,
but I do think, burning your daughter at the stake is probably.
Yeah, I would say you got.
I got the good
bad
ones.
You nailed the bad ones.
Mm-hmm,
I feel like I nailed the good ones. But
you did nail the good ones.
You crushed the bad ones.
The bad ones. I know a bad mom and dad when I see them. Yeah.
I'll floss away from the bad apples.
Yeah. Well, thanks all for watching. We're going to be back tomorrow.
Yes, we'll be back. Hopefully, Pete will join us. If not, you get us and.
Follow us, leave us a review, leave us some comments. Who do you think the best and worst parental father figures, mother figures are in Westeros?
You can drop it on the chat if you have our numbers. Give us a jingle.
No, put it on social media.
Well, yeah, we want
that engagement. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but hey, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.